You're watching today's Homesteader channel here at Peaceful Valley Ranch in Cotopaxi, Colorado, starring yours truly, Johnny Jules. Alright, Homesteader family. So I'm going to start talking to you guys about a little subject called homesteading. If you're watching this channel, you probably understand why I'm covering homesteading, because that's what this channel is all about, is homesteading, my life, our journey together, seeing how things unfold, seeing how the homesteading works, and coming up with a new type of lifestyle. So I started thinking the other day as I was writing down things on my dry erase board over yonder, up on the wall, like I always do. That's how I keep track of everything. And I started writing down for January, February, March, and April. And I started figuring out things I want to get accomplished, things I need to get done here at Hummingbird so I can get this house on the market and sold. And I started thinking, why should you homestead? And why shouldn't you homestead? It's a pretty good question. And I get a lot of emails, I get YouTube comments, I get things on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and people are like, I want to homestead. So I want to dive in a little bit deep into the homesteading movement, into the homesteading lifestyle, and just the way of life when you're homesteading. So a lot of people think that homesteading is the best thing in the world. They think that you can get self-sufficient, you can get independent, it's cheaper way of lifestyle, it's an easier way of lifestyle, and things like that. And there's a lot of falsehoods out there that a lot of YouTube channels put out there for you. And like I made in my YouTube versus Patreon video, a lot of people are moving over to Patreon, and they're not only telling you lies, but at that point they're selling you lies, because you're paying for the content, you're paying for the lies. And I'm not dissing any channels out there, I'm not dissing anybody specifically. It's just, I've watched a lot of channels, I see a lot of comments, I do make comments on other people's channels, just on questions I have, or tell them they made a good video, stuff like that. So for those of you that are not homesteading, who want to homestead, or those of you that have emailed me about homesteading, called me, etc., etc., this video is going to be about breaking it down. And I'm enjoying some hot chocolate while I sit here by the fire talking to you guys, looking at my pretty Christmas tree over there. But anyhow, back to the topic. So why am I saying people are lying about homesteading? Why am I saying that it's falsehoods, etc., etc.? Well, these are the reasons, and these are the things that I see wrong. One, everybody in the prepper movement, the homesteading movement, the survivalist movement, they all think that if you homestead, if you prep, if you do survival stuff, you're going to become self-sufficient. You're not going to need grocery stores when the world comes to an end, apocalypse happens, wars break out, the system collapses, things like that. But guess what? You're wrong. I've done a homesteading video kind of like this before, way back when. It was a fireside chat, I think. Or maybe it was the truth about. But that's not true. Going all the way back in time, people have always traded and bartered and everything else. Nobody has ever been self-sufficient in the known existence of man. Now, yes, I believe I'm an alien. I am an alien. Nobody believes me, but one of these days it will come true. But anyhow, everybody cannot be self-sufficient. If you get a homestead and you get animals, you get a garden, you get an orchard, etc., like I'm doing, that does not make me self-sufficient. Because until I can produce plastic to wrap things in Ziploc bags, until I can produce metal, and that fire is really distorting the picture now, until I can get metal and forge it into the shovels I need, and until I can produce gas for my vehicle and produce my own car insurance without paying a company for it and everything like that, you'll never be self-sufficient. That's why society was created. Because society was created to take homesteading out of the picture and make you dependent on the system. And that's one big negative for homesteading, is you can never be self-sufficient. And that's a lie that a lot of people are telling everybody. They're like, oh, homestead, go out, buy a bunch of seeds, get some chickens, get some goats, get a dairy cow, and you'll be self-sufficient. You won't have to worry about money. You won't have to worry about income, having a job, anything of the sorts. You can just move on to land and you're golden for the rest of your life. Not true. The next topic on what's not true about homesteading and why you shouldn't homestead is money. A lot of people are under the assumption, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get a whole bunch of free pallets, I'm going to get a whole bunch of free containers and fencing and scraps and all this stuff and build a homestead for free. Not going to happen. It can happen, but the thing with homesteading, it's going to cost you money. If you want chickens, unless you find people all the time giving away every single free thing, it's still going to cost you money. Because even if you get free fencing, free houses for the animals, free fencing for the animals, free feed for the animals, I guarantee it's not coming off your property. Because somebody's giving it to you. And that means you are driving to town, you are driving to somebody's house, you're burning gas money, wear and tear on your vehicle, and when you go to pick something up, you normally stop for a meal or something on the way, because you know when you get home, you're going to have to set everything up, get the animals situated, and you're probably not going to eat for a while. So a lot of people, including me, I stop and get a bite to eat on the way to pick something up. So that free chicken that you just went and picked up, you know, how far did you drive? Did you just spend $20, $30 in gas? Well, that's $20, $30 for a chicken, that meal and everything else. So these are things that a lot of people I'm seeing on YouTube, and I don't go on Patreon, so I don't know about Patreon. But on YouTube, you know, the different homesteader channels that I see, that I watch, that I comment on and look at comments on, a lot of people are in this falsehood that homesteading is this amazing thing. And another reason why you shouldn't homestead: death of animals. Can you handle a coyote getting in your pen? Your neighbor's dog breaking through the fence? A hawk taking out your chickens? A bobcat? A mountain lion? Things like that. A lot of people don't think about that. They're like, oh, I'm going to homestead. Let me go get a dozen chickens. Not put nothing over the top. An owl comes in late at night, takes out all your chickens. Or a hawk during the day while you're at work takes out all your chickens. These are the things you need to consider before homesteading. The next part of why you shouldn't homestead is looks. If you have nice looking vehicles, if you have nice looking clothes, if you like a nice clean house, if you like things organized, if you have OCD, homesteading is not for you. And I got my little man coming in here. So what I mean by that is, back to the money situation. If you go and find free pallets, he wants to come hop on camera. Ugh. What do you think, Max? Say you on camera. So this is little Max. But what I was talking about is going back to getting free pallets and stuff. If you go and get a whole bunch of free pallets, free fencing, free used containers that are all beat up and ugly as all get out, then your property's gonna not have that pretty look that you want. So if one of the things you're looking at is looks, then you're gonna have to go out, buy a brand new fence. You're gonna have to buy brand new lumber. You're gonna have to buy brand new containers and storage and everything else. Because if you don't, you're gonna look like a junkyard. And that's what I did here at Hummingbird. Was I bought some new material, but a lot of it was pallets and junk like that. And if you go back in my videos, you can see that the yard looked horrible. My driveway looks horrible. And that's what inspired this video a little bit, was writing down everything. You know, I need to get trash hauled out of here. I need to start getting this stuff boxed up, figure out what I want to keep, what I want to get rid of, and everything like that. So there's a lot of reasons why not to homestead. And probably to top it off is the work. A lot of people are like, oh, if I get out the office, I'm going to get a homestead. It's going to be so easy. You know, just go out, feed the animals. Well, it depends. Do you like hanging out with animals? Do you like cleaning up poop? Do you like seeing dead animals, having to remove dead carcasses? I mean, do you like pounding T-posts and wiring fence and building shelters and everything like that? That's things you got to consider. And they're probably all the good reasons why you should not homestead if that's what you're looking at doing, is homesteading. If you have not studied, if you have not planned, if you have not thought out everything that I'm explaining in this video, you need to do some deep soul searching. You need to get inside your mind, get inside your heart, get inside your soul, and think about these things, because this is reality. Now, I don't want this all negative. And of course, you don't want this all negative, because you were all happy to want a homestead. You're on YouTube looking up videos and you're like, oh, this guy's saying not to homestead. Well, just because I'm telling you not to homestead doesn't mean you shouldn't homestead, because if homesteading was such a bad thing, I would not be doing it. Now, we're going to go into the positives. The number one positive is freedom. If you go back, which I've done my DNA through Ancestry, I found out almost 60% Scottish. I'm 58%, 2% away from being a natural born Scotsman. Well, if you think about it, like the movie Braveheart, all the homesteaders before the wars, before everything like that, they had their own little plot of land. They plowed, they planted crops, they had animals, they lived a good life. Look all across the USA prior to the 1800s. People would go out, have a piece of land, do their little homestead. It's freedom. If I want to not work on my land today, I don't have to. If I want to work on my land, I can. And let me tell you this, when you work at a job and they take 30, 40, 50% of your taxes, guess what? When I spend an hour working on my property, I get the benefits of that full hour. I don't discount 15 minutes or 25 minutes to some entity that doesn't matter to me. Now, what I'm saying basically is if you get $10 an hour at your job, you lose $3 to taxes or $4 to taxes. And say you spend an hour working on your homestead and that hour is your $10, you earned all $10. All of your efforts went into that hour and you benefited that entire hour. So another slight benefit. Depends on how you look at it. Because yes, you'd be doing a lot harder work, but you get the full benefit of what you're doing. So if you're in an office job, AC, everything like that, and you only get 60, 70% of your money, I guess that's all right because you're sitting in air conditioning, you're not really doing nothing, you're just typing on a computer. But is that healthy for you? Breathing in that sick air from other people that are sick in there, hacking their lungs up, chemicals from cleaning products being sprayed at night from the janitors, mold growing in your AC units. So I think homesteading is a lot better way of life, a lot healthier way of life. Another benefit of homesteading, if you're getting large acreage of land, like I'm working on purchasing right now, the 50 acres, I can't see nobody. I don't see a single house from where I'm going to be building, where my animals are. The benefit of that, don't have to worry about burglaries, don't have to worry about college kids partying next door, music blasting, beer bottles all over the ground, trash blowing down the road, cops flying down the street, ambulances, fire trucks, etc., etc. And the pollution is less. No trash on the ground. Not as many contaminants in that area of air. The water is cleaner, so on and so forth. And probably the biggest thing for me that I love, that is my biggest benefit, is happiness. Because I find my happiness in my animals. I go on walks with my goats and my dogs. I go in and give belly scratches to my pigs. I mean, it's just, and the ducks that run up to me, the geese and everything else, it's just, there's no way to put it. So these are just different things you need to consider before homesteading. I know it was all negative in the beginning, but with this channel, I speak the truth. I tell you as it is. And I want to help you before you homestead to think of all the negatives, because without the negatives, you can't have the positives. And without the positives, you can't have the negatives. Because without having my animals for happiness, the negative side is they get killed or die, and I got to deal with sadness on that end. So it's just a lot to consider. And for me, I'll never be self-sufficient. I understand that. I've done the research. I've looked at all the different things, and there's no way possible to become 100% self-sufficient. The most self-sufficient I see that I could become is about 60%. If I had the gardens going properly, if I had the orchards going properly, and I'm able to sell the offspring from the goats, the pigs, the dogs, the chickens, etc., etc. And now that I just thought of that, another big thing is the money aspect. A lot of people think, I'm going to get into the cow business and I'm going to make tons of money because cows are $9, $10, $12 a pound at the store for the cheap generic stuff at Walmart. It's $15, $19 a pound for the premium Black Angus. And I'll make $1 million with my cow. You won't. Do the research, do the studying, and think about it. You get a bunch of chicks, baby chicks, okay? You're going to spend $3, $4, $5 for baby chicks, what have you. Okay, so you got $3 to $4 in baby chicks. Then that chicken, if you're doing it for eggs, for egg business, will not lay eggs for about a year. 10 months to a year. So for 10 months, You spent $3 to $4 for the baby chick. You're going to pay for feed for that baby chick for 10 months to a year until they start laying eggs. How much feed do you have invested at that point? Let's just say you got, I don't know, say $20 pays for the whole chicken for that whole year until they're up to laying eggs. Or just say $22, $3 for baby chick, $22 for the feed. So you're at $25 before you even start making money. That chicken's going to lay eggs. You're going to get like 5, maybe 6 eggs a week, because that chicken's going to at least have 1 down day, if not 2. If something happens, it'd be less than that. So if that chicken lays 6 eggs a week, it's going to take you 2 weeks to get to a dozen eggs. You sell that dozen for $3, 5 dozen, whatever. That's 2 more weeks of feed at a full-grown chicken that you're feeding. The money will never come back. And a lot of people don't understand that homesteading is not profitable, because you have so much infrastructure, fence. Max, it's okay. He wants to go out. Let's let him out for a minute. Say he's a silly little mutt, right? So you want to go outside? I'll let you outside. And you can see how happy he is. But back to what I was saying. You got fence, you've got buildings, you've got feed, you have everything else in the world that you're going to have to do to take care of that animal, to get that animal to produce for you. And I'm telling you, you will never come back and make money from homesteading unless you come up with some way of selling a chicken for $100. I mean, to grow meat chickens, you know, it takes, I think, the Cornish crosses is like, I want to say 4 months or something like that, 3 or 4 months. I don't know. I haven't done meat chickens yet, but when I was helping my neighbor, he did do meat chickens. So in a way, I kind of did it because I did the labor, he paid all the money, and I got some meat for it. But anyhow, he lost, I want to say, 5 or 6 of his chickens because they get so fat and they break their legs and then they just lay down and die. And then you've got others. Now I got Minnie Mouse over here. Oh, she don't want to be on camera right now. But it's just crazy. You know, you spend all that money month after month after month on feed, and then your chicken dies. So you're at a loss there. And then the ones that do survive, you got to sell the chickens for, like I said, $100 a chicken to like break even, because you're not even considering the work to it. You know, how many hours do you put in taking care of the animals? Is your time worth anything? So you got to consider that. I mean, if you're working for pennies on the dollars, might as well get a job at McDonald's. But overall, like I said, if you want a healthier way of life, a free way of life, a happy way of life, homesteading's for you. If you're worried about the looks, the money, or the hard work, then homesteading's not for you. Because like I said, it's going to be hard work. You're going to have death on the homestead. You're going to lose animals. You have sick animals. It's going to cost you a lot of money in the beginning. It's going to cost you a lot of money to run everything. And feed is not getting any cheaper. Land is not getting any cheaper. Materials, not getting any cheaper. So, for those of you wanting to homestead, I hope you have the guts. I hope you have the fortitude. And I hope you have the heart to hang in there and do it right. But like I always say, you know, do your research and do it well. because there's nothing worse than spending, five, six, $700,000 to get into homesteading to realize that's not the life you want. But then again, if you're loving animals, here comes little Max. There he is. We ding, little Max. But if you love animals as I do, and as you see, I get distracted by my animals all the time because they're so goofy, they're so entertaining, they keep me occupied, keep me off that television, then that's the type of life that you should live. So I hope everybody considers this. I hope everybody does their research. And once again, like I said, if you're looking at homesteading, I hope you find it in your heart, your soul, your mind, that is the lifestyle that you want, that you don't want to work until you're 80, roll over and die. You want to get out to cities now. You want to live your life like I do. Wake up when you want to wake up, go to sleep when you want to go to sleep, work when you want, and what have you. But that also has its up and downs. So remember, grass is not always greener on the other side. But there is one place I can always guarantee the grass is always greener on the other side. And that is from the other side of the grave. Because the grass is always greener up above. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night. And I hope this helps everybody out that's been asking me questions about it. And if anybody has any other questions, feel free to comment down below. And I'll make another video on whatever your questions are about. So with that, have a great night. I'm going to go watch a movie. Have a good night. I just want to take a moment and say thank you guys for watching my videos, for donating, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it, and it really means a lot to me. And remember, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be.